hit list. Where bitches don't get stitches, they bleed out. This the hit list. Where we don't wait for karma to come around. This the hit list. Where bodies will get dropped into the ground.
Welcome, YouTube. Today on the Hit or Miss show, we have what is it? AVP and
AVP Requiem.
Requiem. We're doing another twofer. As always, I'm Lucky, y'all.
I'm the big dog.
We have everything that we need for our beverages today. Our beverages today.
Our beverages today. Yeah, we got everything for our beverages today. If you can tell, this movie took a lot of our brain power away.
We have everything we need for our review today. We have our beverages. We have the Florida State flag. And as always, we have the big dog. Take it.
Yeah, so. Fuck. Really? You guys better appreciate what we do for you guys.
Hold on. Before you go into that, I actually liked the first movie. AVP, I actually liked it. The second one, no. But the first one, I liked.
Okay. I don't like either one of them personally. I mean, but he does like the first one. I don't like either one of them. But that's the great thing about our show is we don't have to always agree on everything. But we do
agree on something. The second one was shit.
Oh God, fuck yeah. So the first one, I have to admit, it did have some good visuals. For something that it's almost 20 years old now.
Yeah.
And and the first one did have a plot.
Yeah.
Not much of a plot, but it had a plot.
And what I noticed between the two movies is sometimes the alien's blood was acid.
Yeah. There was a couple scenes where the alien the predator chops the alien's head off, and the acid blood sprays everywhere, but nothing.
It doesn't melt his claws.
Yeah,
but it did earlier in the movie.
Yeah, they had 3 predators that landed in Antarctica, and the alien takes out the first 2.
Yeah.
And then the third one. So yeah,
Third one makes it to damn near the end of the movie.
Even though, really, what did he really do? Really, honestly, except for set a bomb.
Made a new friend.
He set a bomb off.
Made a new friend.
Yeah.
And that's what's important in life. Friendship.
Yeah. Well, in her defense, she did kill 2 aliens. And a queen.
Right, yeah. That's crazy.
And the Predator's like, you don't need me, basically. He's like, you can take care of yourself at this point.
So, going back to the beginning of the story, like, I guess the Predators, they were worshipped, and these people built these temple form. It was like 3 different cultures, right?
Yeah, they brought 3 different cultures together.
Right, and they built this temple form, and, well, it's a pyramid.
Yeah.
And in this pyramid, I guess...
It's like a maze.
It's like a maze, but the queen is like all chained up.
Been there for thousands of years.
Right. And basically she's the queen. She just gives birth.
Yeah.
While she's hooked up to this machine. But it's in the middle of Antarctica.
No, it was on an island in front of Antarctica.
Okay, well, whatever. It was really cold.
Yeah.
And
basically everybody dies but one person.
Right. No, that's actually true.
Yeah, it's true. And the funny thing is like the beginning of the movie, you could tell who's going to die. I mean, they did a lot of foreshadowing in the beginning. I mean, there's a scene where this one guy is showing pictures of his kids. I'm like, yep, he's going to die. And then, of course, the billionaire, Wayland, he has cancer. So you know he's going to die at some point in the movie. I mean, they all just die.
Except the chick.
Yeah, except for the one chick. And the funny thing is she's like, there's a scene where she's like, you all are going to die without me as your guide. You're all going to die anyways.
She's the one that made it.
Yeah. And one thing I do love about the Predator movies is you never see the characters go from one movie to the next.
Yeah.
Like, they do these awesome, like Arnold, you've never seen him in another Predator movie. Danny Glover, you've never seen him in another Predator movie. This chick from AVP that was badass. No.
Yeah.
And then we get into Requiem, or as I like to call it, Alien versus Predator Rectum.
Well, let me finish up what I was saying before you rudely interrupted me.
Go ahead.
Anywho, they built this fucking pyramid for these fucking aliens, and like, I guess so they could just ton them.
Yeah, they basically, in a way, what I gathered from what little plot there was in the movie, that they created these aliens to hunt.
I don't think they created them. I think they found one.
And they brought it
They trapped the queen, and brought the queen down here, put her in the...
to create aliens for them to hunt.
Right, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know, they never really explained that.
You gotta admit though, that Ninja Star thing instead of that flash disc thing, that thing was pretty tight.
Yeah, like I said, the visual effects, the predators and aliens all look badass.
I've also noticed a theme. The fucking, the infrared keeps getting better.
Yeah, the infrared gets better, and I have to admit, the cloaking in this one has gotten way better.
Right.
And it's still translucent. I mean, you can still see them move, but it has gotten... Since, it's been almost 20 years since the first one came out at this point.
Yeah. What about the part where there's a bunch of these eggs? Like, they're born weird. Like, you know how most eggs you crack and they...
Yeah.
But this is more like a leathery egg, and it just opens up at the top.
Yeah, it like blossoms like a flower.
Yeah. And here comes these ugly aliens, but...
And the way they move like a snake at first, because you can see the tail like moving around the body.
Yeah.
And they slither like a snake, because you can hear them like a snake, but they look more like a spider scorpion
Right,
hybrid.
the face huggers.
Yeah. It's weird. And of course, the aliens sacrifice themselves to save the queen.
Right, they're like I said, sometimes their blood is acid, but they kill themselves, and their blood gets on the chains, and she gets loose, and she is just pissed.
Yeah. And there was one guy I did like in the movie that was with her for most of the movie. He ended up dying.
Scott? No, okay, the dude with the bottle cap.
Yeah, I did like him because he was the one that could actually read these hieroglyphics. And I'm like, I even told Lucky over here, I said, they just killed the plot. Like the one man that knows what, he set his watch to the time of the pyramids to shift.
Yeah.
To when it shifted. And, but yeah, it was a bizarre movie that raised more questions than it answered.
Well, see, here's another thing. Like, they're in this pyramid. Now, how pyramids are made, they actually take stone blocks, lay them, and they carve them out.
Yeah.
Which means, with all the chain rattling and screaming, they would have heard something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it was a big pyramid either.
No.
It just seemed big because of the way it always shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, it was just weird. Like, it's hard to explain this movie. Like I said, it draws more questions than it answers.
Oh, the second one, definitely.
Like, this one ended with the alien hybrid predator popping out of the predator's chest.
Right.
Which they never explained how the predator alien got in there.
Right, and...
Like, he got stabbed to the chest.
And are we supposed to assume that the alien takes DNA from its host? Because they're not humanoid, they don't even look human.
No.
So why did the predator alien thing look like the predator? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it had the big dome head, but it had the more of a predator shape to the dome head.
Right. You could tell it was a mixture between the two.
Yeah.
But with alien, it's not a mixture between the two.
It's just an alien.
It's just an alien.
Yeah, a xenomorph. But it's just... And the sad thing is, this movie made money! The budget was $60 million.
Like I said, I liked it. So, I mean...
And worldwide it made, what, $177 million?
77.
I mean, I get it. There was a hype. People wanted to see an Alien versus Predator movie for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, they set it up at the end of Predator 2. Where you saw the xenomorph skull
Yeah.
in the Predator chamber. But this could have been so much better if they just...
Oh, also, correction. Our last video, I was right about the age on the gun.
You know, 1715.
I was right about the century.
Yeah, it was 1715, not 1815. I get those years mixed up sometimes. I mean, there's 100 years between the two. I mean, but yeah, that was AVP.
It made my hit list. Didn't make his. So the second one, we can both agree.
I mean, it had a story at least.
Yeah. The second one made our miss list. It was just complete shit. It was, oh my god, this movie's only been on for 30 minutes. It feels like 3 hours.
Yeah, and you basically take all your teen drama heartthrob TV shows like Gossip Girl or The OC or One Tree Hill or Dawson's Creek, and that's basically most
Add murder.
Yeah, and that's basically most of this movie.
Basically.
And then they just happened. I think this was like a teen movie that was going nowhere, and they just added the Alien and Predator to it. I mean, really. I mean, okay, at the beginning of the movie, they try to find this hunter and his son who got killed by the alien that crash landed. And then the other part of the movie is these two brothers looking for keys in the sewer.
Man.
Those are the first 40 minutes of the movies, folks. And then, of course, when the alien ship crashed, the Predator sent out a distress signal. I get he sent out a distress signal, but you'd think he would do that as the ship was crashing. And then as soon as they crashed, he could have set the bomb.
Man.
And you could have just killed that alien right then and there. Like I said, this movie makes worse sense than the first movie.
I did like the whip though.
Yeah, the
and
whip
he
was
had
badass.
He had two cannons, and at one point in the movie, he takes them off and makes one big hand cannon.
Yeah, which the one brother ends up using.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, after like an hour into the movie, and this was only an hour and a half, hour and like 20-something minute movie. So the first hour of it was just the two brothers go look for keys. The one brother gets his ass kicked because he had a thing for this one chick.
Mm-hmm.
And then it shows the cop and the one brother in a bar. Shows the cop and the one brother in a diner drinking. I'm like, wow. Like, and then of course they're surprised. Like this one cop gets a severed hand that this homeless guy's dog brings to him.
I need to refuel.
And so yeah, he's like, and then he's all freaking out, and you know, he gets all sick to his stomach. I'm like, thinking to myself,
What kind of cop is that?
yeah, I'm like, what kind of crime does this town have?
Right.
I mean, is your biggest day if somebody jaywalks? I mean, good God. I mean, and you can tell immediately who the douchebags were in the movie.
Yeah.
And this one guy I made a comment to Lucky. I said, Lucky, this guy's got a Fred from Scooby-Doo haircut.
He kind of did.
Yeah, but more douchey.
Right. He ended up getting acid on his face.
Yeah.
Well, the alien's blood. It must have been acid at that time.
Yeah, it's like the budget counted. Like, okay, half of the aliens are going to have acid blood. The other half of the aliens are just going to have regular green blood. The budget for this was
40 million, and it made 130.
Yeah. Overall,
Worldwide.
both movies made money somehow.
They were both box office hits.
Yeah. And of course, they left it open for a third movie that never got made.
It might have. I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm gonna look
We're
around.
going to do some research.
Yeah, and if there is a third movie, I'm gonna try to find it somewhere, and we can watch it and put ourselves through this misery again.
Well, we still got two more to do. Our next episode's going to be a 2 for 2.
Yeah, we're gonna do Predators, which is the one where they go to the alien planet, the Predator planet, and then I'm gonna try to find it somewhere, but it's called The Predator, the 2018 movie, and then, as a special treat, we're gonna do Prey.
Right, which is the
new one.
The new one up from on Hulu.
Yeah, which is a prequel.
Right. Kind of like the Final Destination.
Yeah. Which I want to do those too because those are awesome.
We'll have to do those in 2 too.
Yeah.
I think if we got like movies that have more than one, we'll do 2 an episode.
Yeah. Well, except for the fifth one. The fifth one is going to be a standalone episode because it's an odd number.
Right.
But anyways, so going back to AVP Requiem. this
Wrecked
movie,
him, damn near killed him.
yeah, this movie is just. There's a lot of scenes that go nowhere. There's a scene where the alien and finally the hybrid are having a real fight on the roof, and I'm like, Lucky, this is just a wasted scene. I mean, the missiles coming to blow them up. Oh, and the sheriff is a dumbass.
Yeah, he ends up killing
The whole town.
the whole town because there's at this one point where he calls the National Guard.
And they said, sit tight, we're sending an air vac on the way.
Yeah, an airvac on the way. And like halfway there, they're in a tank, and the chick that's from the army is like, that was in the army, is like, this isn't right.
Yeah. She says, the first rule is containment.
Right.
And then neutralize.
Right. And they're like, that would be right in the middle of alien heaven. Why would they have a drop zone there? It would make no sense.
Yeah, yeah. And then,
she was right.
Yeah, because by the time they got there, they were sitting there shooting at the aliens that were coming out of the woods.
Right. And about this time, they saw the Raptor plane.
Yeah, the F something or another. Yeah, the big plane.
Right. And dropped a nuke on him.
And dropped a nuke on him. And the look on the sheriff's face was like, shit. It's like that one moment you realize I should have gotten the tank.
Nah.
And then of course they go to the hospital to get on a helicopter to get out of there.
The other people.
The other people.
Because they split up.
Yeah. And the other people go to the hospital and it's like fucking mayhem in there.
Yeah.
And of course the Predator's there. And the Predator, unlike the first one where they teamed up with the one lady teamed up with the Predator, this Predator doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. Like, he really doesn't give a shit whether anyone lives or dies. He's just there to kill anything.
Yeah, anything that moves.
But yeah, and not only that, the lighting was so dark in this movie.
Half the movie was, very dark.
And you're like, which one's the alien? Which one's the hybrid? Which one's this? Which one's... Like, you couldn't tell who's who.
And it doesn't help the aliens are black.
Yeah, and of course, there's a scene where the power goes out because they had a brief fight in the power plant.
Right, and he shoots a generator or something.
Yeah, he shoots out the main generator trying to hit the alien.
Yeah.
It's just this movie.
It made my brain hurt.
Yeah, and I think the only reason why they even did it was because the first one was such a success and the way they let the first one open. It's like, we have to make a sequel now. Stop making these movies, please. They hurt my brain. I mean, I put this second one up there with Power Rangers and the Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah.
It would have been better if the lighting was a little bit lighter and you could actually see the action scenes and the fight scenes between the aliens and the Predators and the humans.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad I didn't get the second one on DVD because I'd have to throw it away, throw it in the fire.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. I would give it to the alien and hopefully it's the one with the acid blood. But this was AVP1 and AVP Requiem. Personally, I don't like either one of them. But if I had to choose which one to watch again, I'd have to pick the first one.
I like the first one.
The first one had a nice balance between action and violence, even though they made that movie PG-13. This movie was rated R. Not very many really gruesome scenes. And again, they only used the F word once. Why was this rated R?
I don't know.
I mean, I get it. The reason why they made the first one PG-13 was because they were trying to bring in a younger crowd. This movie could have been PG-13 too. But yeah, and then of course they leave it on a cliffhanger, and they go from there. But again, you never know what happens to these people that survived.
Right.
It's bullshit.
It definitely has a lot of plot holes in it.
And there's a lot of stories that go nowhere. It's just a waste of time.
So we're in agreement on the second one.
The second one was just a waste of time, and like I said, it was a movie that had to be made because they left the first one wide open. What are you guys' thoughts on it? Leave us a comment down below, please.
Like, share, comment.
Like, share, subscribe. Ring that bell, y'all.
Ring a ding, y'all. Ring a ding.
Tune in next time when we watch Predators and the Predator.
Good night.
Good night, y'all.